You know, the UK has this massive problem, food waste. But one social business is tackling it head on with a really smart commercial approach. In this explainer, we're going to take a look at Ample, a company that's on a mission to make sure no good food ever gets left behind. It all kicks off with a pretty intriguing idea. What if there was incredible food out there that you've just never had the chance to try? I'm not talking about exotic imports, but perfectly good food grown right here in the UK that right now is just going to waste. To really get the solution, we first need to understand the problem. So let's dive into the UK's food waste crisis. Before we can appreciate what Ample is doing, we have to get our heads around the sheer scale of the problem they're up against. And honestly, the numbers, they're just staggering. Just try to picture this for a second. 26,000 tons. That is the amount of good, totally edible food that gets wasted in the UK every single day. It's an almost unimaginable amount, and it happens day in and day out. And that waste, it comes with a huge price tag. We're talking over £20 billion a year. That's not just a massive drain on our economy, it's also got a heavy environmental cost, contributing something like 6% to the UK's total CO2 emissions. And here's the real kicker. While all that food is being thrown away, our farmers are often left with up to a quarter of their crops unsold. And why? A lot of the time, it's simply because the produce doesn't meet some super strict cosmetic standard for the supermarkets, a crooked carrot, for example. So it just makes you wonder, right? If the food is good and the farmers want to sell it and people obviously need to eat, where is the disconnect? Why does so much of this perfectly good harvest never, ever make it to a plate? It just doesn't add up. The current system, it's clearly broken. But that frustration, that's also where the motivation comes from. It's the core belief that drives the whole mission we're about to explore. Yeah, the system is broken, but there is a better way. And that better way is what brings us to the solution. So let's meet Ample, the change makers who look at this crisis and don't see an impossible problem, but a huge opportunity for some real profound change. Okay, first thing to know is that Ample isn't just another food company. They actually call themselves an alliance of change makers. Their purpose is super simple and powerful. Rescue all that unsold surplus food and get it to its best possible use, creating value instead of waste. You can really see what they're all about in their manifesto. It's not just about rescuing food. It's about totally re-engineering the system. They take real, practical action. They empower farmers by letting them set their own prices. They give buyers amazing value, and they're pushing for a food economy that's just fairer for everybody. So the big question is, how do they actually pull this off? Well, Ample's strategy is this really clever two-pronged attack, tackling the problem with both a marketplace and a kitchen. Let's break down how they work together. First up, you've got the Ample marketplace, and it completely flips the old model on its head. See, traditional wholesalers are basically middlemen. They buy low from farmers to sell high to someone else, and it can take months for farmers to get paid. Ample isn't a trader, they're a service. They connect farmers directly to buyers, handle all the logistics, and, this is key, make sure farmers get paid in days, not months. So if you're a farmer, the whole process is just a game changer. It's so simple. You've got some surplus produce, you just upload it to the platform and you set your own price. Ample takes care of literally everything else, the orders, the payments, even arranging the delivery. It puts the power right back where it belongs, with the person who grew the food. And don't just take my word for it. The real-world impact is so clear. As farmer Jack Scott says here, the service frees him up to focus on what he does best, growing amazing food. That's the practical power of this whole model. But, okay, what happens to the produce that can't be sold fresh in time? Well, that's where the second part of Ample's strategy comes in, the Ample Kitchen. This is a facility where all those surplus ingredients get a new life. They're transformed into high-value things like soups, stews, and sauces. The kitchen's mission is obviously to extend the life of this produce so nothing gets wasted. But crucially, it also serves markets that really need nutritious, affordable food the most, like schools. And get this, through their buy one, give one model, every single purchase helps to tackle food insecurity. It's brilliant. Okay, so we've seen how it all works. But what's the ultimate impact here? Well, this model creates all these positive ripples across the economy, our society, and of course the planet. And this isn't just wishful thinking. Ample has some really clear, measurable targets for 2030. Their goal is to put an extra £195 million directly into farmers' pockets, rescue 7% of the UK's total farm surplus, and save 250,000 tons in CO2 emissions. These aren't just vague hopes. This is a concrete plan for making a huge impact. What's really cool is how this local action has a genuine global impact. Ample's work directly supports at least 8 of the UN's Sustainable Development Goals, things like zero hunger, climate action, and decent work. It's a powerful reminder of how all these issues are connected. And you know what? The industry is really starting to pay attention. The COO of a major produce supplier says they see an opportunity here to revolutionize non-retail food distribution. That tells you there's a real hunger for change, even from inside the system itself. So all of this, it all builds towards a truly inspiring final vision. And it's not just about reducing waste, it's about getting rid of the very idea of it. It's that simple, and that powerful, and incredibly ambitious. The ultimate goal is to create a system so efficient, so fair, and so creative that food waste just becomes a term we don't need anymore. And look, this isn't some far-off pie-in-the-sky dream. Their roadmap shows just how fast they're moving. With UK-wide deliveries, a new frozen line, and the Ample Kitchen all launching in 2025, this vision is becoming a reality, and it's happening right now. So we end up right back where we started, but with a totally new way of looking at it. This question reframes the entire problem. It suggests that what we've been calling waste is actually just untapped potential. It's hidden value. And maybe, just maybe, it's the best food we've yet to taste. That is a powerful thought to leave with.